Okay, hey everyone, welcome back to Mission Impact series with Tracy and Ty. And as you know, this is our series on complicated times with simple solutions. So, we talked about legal issues when it comes to having simple solutions. We talked about board business when it comes to having simple solutions. And today we're going to be talking about training and experience when it comes to simple solutions. So, how do we manage our staff? How do we interact with our board? How do we interact with the community? All of those things. If you have policies and procedures about how you do these things, you have evaluative processes, all of this becomes simple, right? Simple solutions. So if this is your first time joining us, my name is Tracy V. Allen. I'm the owner of TVA Consulting Group, where I help change agents, because we're going to just say change agents when we're on Change Agentz TV, right? So I help change agents to design, build, and fund their social ventures so that they can live the lifestyle that they desire while impacting their communities.
All of that. My name is Tyler Enterprises. I work mostly with nonprofit organizations, helping them to move from startup and struggle to sustainability and success. And Tracy, keeping it simple when you're talking about management and staff, I'm learning the more that I work with developing organizations that little things like job descriptions are foreign.
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
how do I know what I'm supposed to be managing or who I'm supposed to be managing if I don't even know what they're supposed to be doing?
And I'm going to go right back here again to the corporate binder.
Binder, ma'am. There you go.
Right?
You don't have to do
This corporate binder, as you can see, it says TVA Consulting Group on there. The job description of everyone who works for your company should be in this binder.
Should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's folks are just like, who do I need to have or who do I need to hire? And then they just make it up as they go. No job description. So when you don't have a job description and you're trying to manage a staff or a volunteer or whatever, how do you know that what you're doing is actually something that's going to be productive and help you to create the impact that you're trying to create, utilizing this employee or this volunteer? Because everything that you bring into your business or your nonprofit is supposed to be helping you to get to a certain goal, right? Helping you to achieve a certain, even whether that's a person, whether that's a product, whatever it is, it's supposed to help you to reach a certain goal. So if I'm hiring somebody, what is their purpose for my business, for my organization? And how do I know that we've achieved this purpose? Right. If I don't know if they don't have a description, I'm just saying, you just go to work.
Right. And that's what makes it simple. If you have a job description, people can always refer back to their job descriptions to see if what they're doing is even in their job description. Is this what I got hired to get paid for? Does it say open-ended and other things? And does what you're asking me to do come into the other things? And if somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can always pull their job description and say, this is what you applied for. This is what we hired you to do, and this is what you're not doing. So it helps to secure you as the employee as well, employer, and both the employee as well. So everybody needs a job descriptions. You also need employee handbooks. Once you're hiring people, you need employee handbooks so that people can refer to their employee handbooks to see how much leave we're going to get. How do we apply for leave? All of the other things that we're talking about can be done if you just keep it simple. Have a systems and processes in place. If you have those systems and processes, things become easy. It's when you don't have it and then you're trying to off the cuff make things up and the rules don't apply to everyone, you create a very tense atmosphere. Because as much as I know there are employees that say, oh, don't tell the other person what you're getting paid, but if you have that's easy when you're working remotely, maybe. But when you're working and people can stand up at the water cooler or go to the cafeteria and then things come up and then I'm complaining about how I can't pay my rent, and you're like, girl, I'm going on a vacation to Dubai, and then you're like, well, wait a minute, how you are like, right? You're like, how? And then that conversation starts about how much I get paid and what I do with my money. And then you're over there going, wait, so you're making $50 an hour for the same job I'm getting paid 30 for?
Oh, no, ma'am.
That's what I'm saying. So having standard operating procedures, having your handbooks, having, everything just in place that your employees will need to be able to refer to and do their work effectively. And then it helps you when it comes to evaluations too. So you can take what it is that you hired them for and create a comprehensive evaluative tool, even letting them know how often they're going to be evaluated and what they're going to be evaluated on helps to make people accountable. So that's how you keep that simple solutions. Right? It may seem complicated because I know when people have to start hiring people or bringing on contractors, they're like, oh my God, they start holding their head. They start getting migraines. Their stomach starts bubbling because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm responsible for someone else's well-being. I am responsible for whether or not somebody eats. They keep their lights on. And it just seems very overwhelming. But if you take a step back and either hire an HR person, full-time, part-time, or even as a consultant, because there are HR people who consult and help them get your systems and processes in place for hiring employees and making sure that you're upholding the law. So I can even tell you a story of myself. When I first started hiring, I didn't even realize I needed a reemployment number. Okay, so for the first year that I hired people, I didn't have a reemployment number. And then I got a consultant and she was like, girl, where's your reemployment?
You need that. Oh, okay. Like it. I mean,
I was like, what?
People don't know, right?
I was like, what? Are we a who? How do you do that?
That's
and then she was like, right? Let me take care of that for you, and got everything in place that I needed so that I could be legally and effectively running that portion of my business.
I have to remind even, founders and founders are so quick to deem themselves executive director or CEO or whatever. And I'm like, well, who told you that? Like, who hired you to be this person? Or
they hired themselves.
Yeah, they hired themselves. and there's no I'll be echoing a little bit. There's no paper trail, there's no process of how you were onboarded, there's no application on file that you applied. Even though you're the founder. When you become employed by this organization, there needs to be a process. You need to have a job description. If you're an executive director, CEO, or whoever, we need to know what you're doing. Right? Yeah. Who put you there?
Even if you're not a W-2 employee, even if you're a 1099 of the organization at that time, you still need to have all those things in place. And right now I'm in a situation where I'm asking someone for all of those things, and they're looking at me like I have 4 heads. Like, why do I need it? This is my stuff, and I'm like, I understand that, but you're also an employee of the organization. You're getting a check. So just the same things, like fill out an employee application, fill out this, fill out that. And they're like, what? Why? I don't want to do it. And I was just like, but you have to do it.
I want to do it.
You hired me for compliance reasons. You hired me to manage your grant and keep you compliant. And these are the compliance things. If you ever get audited, these are the things that you're going to need to present in the audit. You can't call me back when you get audited to ask me to help you to put it together. I'm helping you to put it together now so that if it should ever happen, you already have the playbook and you can just say, here you go. Here's everything that we did. Here's everything that we have. These are all the people who work for us, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Yeah.
And I don't want to do it. It's not acceptable.
Yeah, people like to tell you they're not doing stuff. I'm like, well, then you're wasting your money. You're paying me for nothing.
You don't want to do it? Come on, man. You got to do it. That's not. We're not going to take.
Sometimes I don't want to do it. Sometimes I'm not doing it. I've been told that I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's why you always have to have a clause in your contracts saying that you can terminate the client as well, because it is counterproductive for us to be working together if you are not going to do what's necessary to get the job done. Okay. So training and experience, even though you bring someone onto your job, let's talk about that quickly. And the person has been an accountant. Let's say an accountant has been an accountant for X amount of, maybe that's not a good one because I think all accounting softwares are generally the same.
But they may not. Fundraising, even accounting. I mean, they may not.
Yeah, even accounting. Everybody has a different system of how they do things. right? The way how you did things over there isn't necessarily the way I do things here. Now, you may need to teach me some things coming in, but then I may need to teach you some things coming in as well, because, maybe the way you deposit money or the way you do accounts payable and receivable, we do it a slightly different. It doesn't mean that we're doing it wrong. It's just that we do it differently. Right. So you can't hire people and just expect them to come in and just start working. You have to have a training period. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think because they hire an expert that the person should just come in, hit the ground running. They should never have to tell the person anything. You're setting yourself and you're setting that person up for failure. And that's where people get stressed out initially when they come on the job. And then you have a high turnover rate because then they're gone. Right. Because they're just like, this is not going to work. So having training and experience go together. They're not mutually exclusive from one another.
In the last session, you mentioned board training, right? And I think, this kind of plays right along with that, where people get upset with their boards and they're not doing any work. They're not doing this. Have you provided any training for them? Do they know what they're supposed to do? Do they know what you are expecting from them? Have you shown them what it is they're supposed to be doing? A lot of that, you can save a lot of time and a lot of stress by just implementing trainings to show people what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. Because I have the staffing company as well. And we have people who come and look for virtual assistants on a regular basis to do things for them. And the first thing that they say is, oh, I'm hiring this person because I don't want to do this, or I don't have the time to train anybody. So this person needs to know how to do X, Y, Z again. And that's like a red flag for me, because I can't promise you that. Yes, the person knows how to do X, Y, Z, but when they come to your business, you do things a particular way. So you still need to take time to train them. If you do not have time to train somebody, then it's not the time to hire somebody.
Right. You got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You got to do it yourself, right? It's like, I'm going to hire a virtual assistant to build me a house. Look, girl, I got to do it myself, because you have to lay out, and again, back to your SOPs and things like that, where you have to have these things kind of laid out. If I talk to people about logic models, you do too. The plan and the processes for things, you have to have this stuff laid out. So if somebody comes in to your business or your organization, they can pick up something and go, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right. An operations manual. Right. And that's the thing. So, and I think we are all guilty of not having those done. So what I've started doing, because the step-by-step writing out thing just does, I have enough writing to do when I'm writing grants, proposals, and other things. I'm not trying to write down step by step how I do something. So what I've started doing is screen recording myself doing it and talking about it as I'm going through the process. And then I have that in a file. So this is how you do XYZ in Canva. This is how you get into instrumental. This is how you get into whatever. This is how you search for what. And I have those videos broken down in categories. Yeah. But whether you have it in a written form or you have it in video form, you do need to have an operations manual that teaches people. When you're saying, I don't have time to train, you've already created the training materials. Yeah. So now you just need to give them access to it so that they can hit the ground running.
And I had to stay conscious of that. So I was like, okay, well,
I remember.
Off my plate, I'm like, okay, so now,
because you kept telling me, I don't have time for that.
Let me do this, and let me just record. Let me just put on Loom and record the thing, and then give it to them. Now they got a whole library of stuff, so they don't even have to bother me, and I don't really
because you already explained it to them. And anytime they forget anything, they just have to press record and hear Ty tell it to them again. Instead of having to email you or call you or...
You remember me struggling with that. I was like, I
really remember. And I kept telling you, Ty, just do a video. And you're like, I don't have time for that. I said, you have to have time for one or the other. You're either going to take her and physically train her, or you're going to do the video so she can keep watching it. Until she gets better.
Right? Like, and be frustrated and complain about it. And
I said, you keep telling me the same thing over and over. You have got to create the training video. Yeah.
You'll be so proud of me because they have a whole library sitting back there.
That's great. That's awesome. All right, guys. So that's kind of it when it comes to complicated times and simple solutions when in regards to training and experience. You have got to train your people, create operating manuals, create SOPs, and that will give you a simple solution to things that can become a huge, huge issue later on. All right. All right, until next time. Oh, the next one we're going to be talking about strategy at play, which kind of pulls all of these elements together. So come back for the next one, which is strategy at play. Until next time, bye, everyone.